The air in the dining room hung heavy, like the calm before a Midwest thunderstorm that you know will rip through everything in its path. 24 faces turned toward me, frozen in that split second of horror. As Margaret's words echoed off the polished oak walls, "You're nothing but a worthless leech on this family." My mother-in-law's voice sliced through the holiday cheer like a serrated knife through warm butter. I, Emily, sat there at the end of the table, my fork suspended midair, staring at the empty space where the dessert should have been gleaming under the chandelier lights. The whole room pulsed with unspoken judgments, my husband Michael's cheeks flushed crimson, his sister Sarah smirking like she'd just won some twisted game, and little 5-year-old Liam pulling at my sweater, whispering, "Mommy, why is Nana yelling so loud?" His big eyes, innocent as fresh snow, cracked something deep inside me, a fracture that had been spiderwebbing for years. Margaret loomed at the head of the table, her silver hair pinned back in that severe bun that made her look like a judge about to pass sentence. She was decked out in her emerald green velvet dress, the one she paraded around for occasions like this, to remind everyone she was the matriarch holding the strings. One simple task. "Emily," she sneered, her tone laced with venom that dripped slow and deliberate. "Bring the damn pie. And you couldn't even handle that. What kind of sorry excuse for a wife are you?" The family shifted uneasily, Michael's aunts murmuring under their breath, uncles averting eyes to their half-eaten turkey plates, cousins fiddling with napkins. Even George, Margaret's husband, just stared at his calloused hands, the one scarred from years of factory work, refusing to step in like he always did. "I'm sorry," I muttered, my voice a fragile thread barely holding together. "Liam spiked a fever this morning. I had to rush him to the ER. It took hours." But Margaret slammed her palm down, rattling the crystal glasses and sending a ripple through the silverware. "Always an excuse. You're meant to support this family, but all you do is drain it dry with your incompetence." Drain it dry? The words ignited a spark in my chest, fanning flames I'd smothered for too long. I thought of all those late-night whispers from Michael. "Mom needs a quick $100 for meds. Just $250 for the roof leak. Can we spot her $400? She's in a bind. Month after month. Our savings trickled away like water down a cracked drain, while Margaret painted me as the villain. I rose from my chair, the wood scraping against the floor like a declaration of war. The room fell into a vacuum of silence. Even Liam's fidgeting halted. "You want to talk about draining resources?" "Margaret." My voice, once a whisper, now steady as steel. Her eyes bulged, unaccustomed to resistance. For 4 years, I'd swallowed her barbs, the snide remarks about my hobby job at the preschool, the backhanded compliments on my parenting, the constant comparisons to Sarah, her golden child. "Not tonight. You label me worthless? Then why do you keep crawling to us for handouts?" Color leached from her face, Sarah's knife clinking against porcelain in shock. Michael looked like he'd been gut-punched. "What nonsense is this?" George grumbled, confusion etching his weathered brow. "Oh, hasn't she shared?" I pivoted, addressing the table like a prosecutor unveiling evidence. The $600 last month for urgent bills, or the $350 before that for car maintenance, or the endless stream before. We've funneled over $3,000 to her this year alone. While she calls me the leech. "Emily." "Enough," Michael hissed. But the dam had burst. Years of silent endurance, of biting my tongue at family barbecues, of forcing smiles through her passive-aggressive digs, poured out. "Stop? Why?" "So she can keep pretending while we scrape by?" For weeks earlier, the tension had been simmering like a pot left too long on the stove. I was sorting through preschool lesson plans in our modest Chicago suburb living room when Michael slouched in from his shift as an HVAC technician, grease stains on his jeans, eyes dodging mine. "Hey, love," he sighed, collapsing onto the couch. Mom called. My gut twisted. Margaret's calls were like storm warnings, always heralding some demand that chipped away at our fragile peace. "What now?" I asked, folding a stack of colorful worksheets. He rubbed his temples. "Her water heater busted. Needs $300 to fix it before winter hits hard." I paused. Our bank app open on my phone showing our dwindling balance. We just handed her $400 last month for what she swore was a final grocery crunch. Before that, vet bills for her cat that mysteriously vanished. "Michael, we can't. Liam's preschool tuition is due. And my car's brakes are shot." He looked pained, that familiar guilt shadowing his features. "She raised me alone after Dad bailed for those 6 months. Worked double shifts at the diner. I owe her." George had been back on his feet at the auto plant for years. But somehow, it was always our burden. How could I deny family? "Fine," I relented, the word tasting like ash. "But this stops soon. We're barely afloat." That weekend, at Sarah's promotion party in their sprawling backyard, Margaret's idea. Of course. To flaunt her daughters climb up the corporate ladder at a marketing firm, we arrived with Liam in tow. Margaret was there, flaunting a new designer purse and fresh highlights, cooing to the guests. "Oh, this? A steal at the outlet," she bragged, her eyes flicking to my faded sundress from Target's clearance rack. Later, as I refilled Liam's juice cup, her voice carried from the kitchen, "Emily just doesn't have that homemaker instinct. Poor Michael comes home to chaos, dishes piled up, Liam running wild. And her cooking? He must be starving half the time." I'd spent the morning scrubbing our home spotless, Liam's curls neatly combed. My face burned, but I swallowed it. As always, the silence a shield that was cracking under the weight. The following week, Michael dropped another bomb. "Mom's behind on property taxes, $450. Or they threaten foreclosure." I was balancing our budget at the kitchen table, red numbers glaring back. "We gave her money 2 weeks ago. What about Sarah? She's closing on that condo downtown." He shrugged. "Mom doesn't want to burden her success story. Sarah's thriving. You know, thriving without the anchor of a child or a mother-in-law's endless needs." I signed the check, my hand trembling, vowing internally this was the end. But 2 days later, spotting Margaret at the upscale mall cafe, sipping lattes with shopping bags from high-end stores, the betrayal sank deeper. She waved dismissively, "Just treats for Sarah's new place. She's earned it." Our loans funding her facade, while she eroded my self-worth. The anger coiled tighter, a silent serpent waiting to strike. 3 weeks before Christmas, Margaret summoned us for her annual family council in her impeccably decorated living room, ornaments twinkling mockingly. She stood like a general, dictating dinner at our place, as tradition demands. "George and I handle the mains. Sarah, your signature stuffing and roasted veggies." Sarah preened, "Absolutely. Mom, adding gourmet herbs this year." I sat beside Michael, Liam playing quietly with blocks, feeling like an outsider in my own marriage. "Michael and Emily. Rolls and dessert," Margaret decreed, her gaze skimming over me. "Emily, grab something from the bakery. Keep it foolproof, no mishaps." Her tone implied my every effort was doomed. "Last year's homemade brownies? Too dry, store-bought reliability next time." "Actually," I interjected, my voice firmer than intended, "I'll bake an apple crisp from scratch." Margaret's smile tightened. "Ambitious. Remember Thanksgiving's burnt rolls?" Sarah chuckled. "Classic Emily, always the adventure." Michael squeezed my knee supportively, but the dismissal stung. That night, Insomnia gripped me, replaying their mockery. I wasn't incompetent. I crafted engaging lessons for 20 preschoolers daily. Nurtured Liam with love. Stretched our budget like taffy. Why did Margaret's words reduce me to nothing? The next day, I dove into recipes, testing batches, consulting online forums, calling my aunt for heirloom tips. Why the obsession? She asked. It's not just dessert, it's dignity. By mid-December, my crisp was perfection, caramelized topping, tart apples, cinnamon warmth. Colleagues raved, Liam declared it magic. But Margaret wasn't done undermining. At George's office holiday gala the next Sunday, Margaret paraded Sarah, my daughter, the rising star in marketing, just snagged a corner office. For me, this is Emily, Michael's wife. No nod to my certification in early childhood education. My part-time role empowering young families. During speeches, she gushed, Sarah's so savvy with finances, remodeling her new condo already. Michael chimed, Emily's killing it at the preschool too. Margaret's patronizing nod, cute gig, good practice for Liam. Right? Like my career was child's play. That fueled my final test batches. Determination hardening into resolve. 2 days before Christmas, chaos erupted. Liam woke scorching at 4 a.m., Mommy. Hot. Fever at 103. Michael geared up for an overtime plumbing gig. Gotta wrap this before dinner. Now, I insisted. We endured a 5-hour wait in the fluorescent-lit hell of sick kids and harried parents. Diagnosis: severe flu. Rest mandatory. Home by noon. Exhausted. Liam whining. I had mere hours to bake. Shower. Wrap gifts. Butter shortage sent us scrambling to a gouging gas station store. Liam's tantrum mid-mix frayed my nerves. Sarah's call, Mom's stressing, dinner at 4 sharp. My calendar blunder, thought 5. Rushing. The crisp baked flawlessly at 3:30. Aroma divine. Dressed. Loaded car. We arrived at Margaret's, only to realize the crisp sat forgotten on my counter. A cruel irony. Back in that dining room inferno. The silence shattered. August 22nd, I declared, pulling up bank records on my phone. You begged $700 for home repairs. We obliged. Margaret flushed. September 18th. $450 for health costs. George blinked. What costs? The ones that funded your spa days. Perhaps. Sarah rose, lies. But I read texts aloud. Don't tell George, tight month. You're a lifesaver. Emily. The room iced over. October 12th. $300 groceries, but I saw you loading caviar and wine at Whole Foods. George's pallor deepened. Patricia, wait. Margaret. Is this real? Her denials crumbled. November 30th. $250 utilities, yet your house blazed like Vegas while we cut our heat to save. Michael pleaded, Home now. No more hiding. I exposed the lottery stubs I'd found in her car during a frantic search for Liam's AP pen, $300 on scratches. While preaching my wastefulness, Margaret erupted, jealous bitch. Sarah's the success, you're nothing. Her rage peaked. Face mottling. Breaths ragged. You've poisoned us. Clutching her chest. She wheezed, can't breathe. We dismissed it as theater, her arsenal of feigned ailments. Sarah scoffed, drama queen. But her ashen hue, blue-tinged lips, weren't fake. She staggered, cracking her temple on the table edge with a wet crack, collapsing in a heap. Pandemonium, screams. Blood pooling. I dialed 911. Voice steady amid hysteria, collapsed. Head trauma. Possible cardiac. Paramedics confirmed arrhythmia from stress. Compounded hypertension. Hospital vigil. Accusations flew. George snarled, your fault, stressing her out. Sarah echoed. You twisted everything. Michael averted eyes. The betrayal cutting deepest. Dr. Reynolds emerged, mild infarction. Triggered by acute stress. Lifestyle overhaul needed. In her room. Margaret whispered apologies. I gambled it all away, lottery addiction since George's layoff. Blamed you to hide shame. Therapy unveiled anxiety. Jealousy of my real family bond. Sarah confessed. Mom fed me lies about your spending. 7 months on. Frosting Liam's birthday cupcakes. Margaret arrived unannounced. Gift in hand. Not expecting me. But for Liam. You're welcome, family. No more bets. Weekly sessions. Meds taming her demons. She wasn't affectionate. But the cruelty faded. Thanks for that 911 call, saved me. As Liam embraced her. Scars lingered, the price of shattered silence, eroded trust. But forged honesty. Revenge's echo, pain before peace. Yet peace prevailed.